One Zambia, one nation. Hello and welcome to Zanis News. To present, my name is Henry Himonde. Let's take a look at the top stories in our news. European Union gives an additional 60 million euros to Zambia. Construction works at Tuvalange Mini Hospital advance. And Kabwe District Commissioner unhappy with delay to open ablution block for traders. Zanis News in detail. The European Union has topped up 60 million euros under its international financing program to support Zambia's education and health sectors up to 2024. The financial top-up is from the initial 300 million euros recently given to Zambia by the EU for the purposes of rebuilding the country's economy. European Union Commissioner for International Partnership, Junta Aplenan, has announced the budget support program to Zambia when she called on President Hakainde Hichilema at State House. Details in the following report.
President Hakainde Hichilema's recent trip to Brussels on June 22, 2022, and subsequent meetings with key stakeholders in that country has resulted in the European Union's top-up financial budget support of 60 million euros to support Zambia's social sectors, among them education and health. This is in addition to the 299 million euros already given to Zambia by the EU. Visiting EU Commissioner for International Partnerships, Junta Aplenan, announced the financial support to Zambia when she called on President Hakainde Hichilema at State House today.
I'm very glad that later today, as a symbol of our appreciation of our strong partnership, we will be announcing the first ever top-up of our multi-annual indicative program under our financing instrument NDG Global Europe. An additional 60 million euros will be provided in support of the country's education and health sector reforms by resuming EU budget support in the country. Mr. President, the Finance Minister, you raised this while we met in Brussels. I want to underline that we heard you.
Ms. Aplenan said in her capacity as Commissioner for EU, she was overwhelmed and impressed with the manner in which President Hichilema saw the interest of the 20 million Zambians.
Mr. President, I remember very well our meeting in Brussels last year. I have to say that in that meeting I was really impressed by your reform agenda for this country. And I think that was actually the moment when I decided to travel to Zambia. And actually, as we heard, this is indeed a historical mission. Zambia is a strategic partner of the European Union in the Southern African region, and I would say also an ally at multilateral level.
President Hichilema, on the other hand, has underscored the economic cooperation that continues to manifest between the EU and Zambia.
We appreciate the Global Gateway Initiative a lot. It fits in with our own program of work here. And obviously, the issues you've touched on, budget support, for us this is a milestone because we know in the period, the government before us, it was difficult to get budget support for obvious reasons, the concerns around utilization of resources that were availed to us. But for you to hear our requests anchored on our own reform agenda, economic, social, focusing on really bringing the economy back where it was.
Ms. Aplenan was accompanied to State House by a delegation from the European Parliament led by Piret Herzberger. This is the first time in the history of Zambia that a delegation from the EU and the European Parliament are visiting Zambia together. Kalan Muchima reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Zambia and the European Union have signed 3 agreements aimed at revamping Zambia's economy. The 3 instruments signed include 30 million euros budget support towards the rehabilitation of the Kariba Dam a 20 million euros funding towards smallholder farmers, and a 60 million bilateral envelope towards social sectors. The agreements were signed between Zambia's Finance Minister Tumbeko Musokotwani and European Union Commissioner Junta Aplenan and witnessed by President Hakainde Hichilema. Here now is the rest of the story.
Zambia and the European Union EU have signed 3 agreements aimed at revamping Zambia's economy. The 3 agreements are in the areas of energy, agriculture, health, and education. The agreements were signed between Zambia's Finance Minister Tumbeko Musokotwani and European Union Commissioner for International Partnership, Junta Aplenan.
The EU will provide an additional 30 million euros for the rehabilitation of the Kariba Dam. This will help Zambia to benefit from a continued supply of green energy in the future. The green partnership between EU and Zambia is very important because we must address our common threat, the climate change, while boosting new growth. We will promote sustainable economic recovery, growth and decent jobs for the growing number of young people. And finally, food insecurity has risen sharply because of the global impacts of Russia's war aggression against Ukraine. Supply chains, unfortunately, have been disrupted.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema witnessed the signing ceremony, which took place at State House.
This visit is critical. It's important to us. It presents a rare opportunity to build on our partnership, to strengthen our partnership, and indeed, as you acknowledged, around our own priorities. I think in the past it's been sometimes difficult to have convergence on the priorities and walk through programs that are anchored around the priorities.
Kalan Muchima reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
In Lusaka province, the Road Development Agency, RDA, has completed the stabilization of Choncho Bridge across Choncho River on the Great East Road in Rufunsa district. Lusaka Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Alex Mapushi inspected the bridge. Details in this report.
Stabilization of Choncho Bridge across Choncho River on the Great East Road in Rufunsa district of Lusaka Province has been completed. The Road Development Agency, RDA, was engaged by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, to repair the bridge which was on the verge of collapsing.
We started fixing this thing starting from January because this thing, it was collapsed. Starting from there, top, then we fix it, we backfill it, and we do some what we call stabilization using cement.
Mr. Chikopera says repair works, which commenced in January this year, have been completed with guardrails only remaining to be fixed.
Sooner or later, because we are receiving them today or tomorrow, the guardrails.
Last time you told me the same on Friday.
No, in fact, they were buying some poles. Okay. We need to use steel poles instead of wooden poles because these things are not in. So
Lusaka Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Alex Mapushi, who inspected the repair works, encouraged government officials to be regularly checking on projects under their jurisdiction. He also advised districts to find a mechanism of harvesting rainwater.
We need to be working every day. We check out all the projects that we have because we have to deliver to the people.
That's true.
We need to harvest water.
Yes.
We cannot be having water just going away like that.
That's very true.
These structures are good so that water can pass properly. And then from there we need to channel it somewhere. Yes.
For usage.
For usage. So that we do not have droughts. So that we sort out problems like we have at that school we are coming from where we have to build a pit latrine. That cannot be happening.
Jonathan Mukuka reporting for Zanis News in Rufunsa.
Still on construction news, work on the construction of a maternity wing and a water reticulation system at Tuvalange Mini Hospital in Kasupe Ward of Chilanga District have advanced. Chilanga Member of Parliament Sipo Shazo, who visited the site, disclosed that 1,500 households are expected to benefit from the water reticulation systems in Namalombo ward. Details in this report.
For a very long time, residents of Namalombe ward of Chilanga district have had to walk long distances in search of clean drinking water. Government, through the 2022 Constituency Development Fund CDF allocation, is constructing 3 boreholes to be solar powered and will benefit more than 1,000 households once completed.
We've put up 3 water reticulation systems with solar, and which is going to connect about 1,500 households are going to have access to clean water. As you can see, some of the houses like here where we are now, few of the houses are going to get direct water connected to.
So we have 3 of these this kind of arrangements, such that we can provide more to our communities, as we promised as the new government. We are saying service to the people.
Residents had this to say concerning the projects.
In life, you have to appreciate whatever somebody does in life. HH, as the current president, has done a lot.
Meanwhile, in Kasupe ward of Chilanga district, a mother's shelter is being constructed under the same 2022 CDF allocation, and works are currently at 80% to completion.
And they're on course, and we need to be done as quickly as possible. Maybe 21 days from now, we need to hand over the project to the community.
Itazikomu ku government yamene yalumangira shelter y'abakazi. Chifukwa chakuti bakazi abakaleta abana ku kipimo bapimisira mu mutengo. Manje government yaluonera kulupasa nyumba hii. Luchitazikomu kwambiri.
The increased CDF is yielding positive results in infrastructure development across the district to help address some of the challenges that are being experienced in their various wards. Ngwetoka Pekele, Zanis, Chilanga.
Zanis News continues. Law enforcement agencies have been called upon to effectively play their role in the fight against sexual and gender-based violence in the country by ensuring the law is strictly enforced. Senga Hill Member of Parliament Henry Sikazwe says the country has adequate legislation to deal with the vice but requires enforcement on the part of the police. Brian Siwisha is in the province and now reports.
The enforcement of laws in any society is very important if citizens are to enjoy their rights and well-being, besides ensuring that there is peace and order, which is essential for any developing country. As a Prevent Sexual and Gender-Based Violence program called Natwampane, meaning togetherness, comes to an end in Northern Province this year, stakeholders have called on law enforcement agencies to play their role in the fight against the vice by ensuring that the law is strictly enforced. A group of parliamentarians who were attending a sexual and gender-based violence meeting in Siavonga district and organized by World Vision are happy with the success of the project, but still feel more should be done.
I believe we have got enough laws to deal with this. Enough laws. What we need to do is just to, pull up our socks as lawmakers, including the law enforcers, the police officers, so that we go out there, so that we educate our people and tell them if anything, let them report to the police. Then the police will take it to court. There's no need for us to go back to Parliament and say, oh, maybe we need that. No, what we need to do is just to push our law enforcers to pull up their socks, because some of police officers, they're sleeping, because there's no way we can come up with another bill or an act when we have enough laws to cater for these things. So what we need is just leadership from the Inspector General, the officer in charge, the CIOs, to make sure that they protect our people.
So we need to also have an approach, an awareness of how everybody can manage to get services of SGBV without any segregation. We are all one as a people, and what I can undergo, the next person can undergo, irregardless of where we come from.
Another parliamentarian called for continued empowering of women and youths so that they do not become victims of SGBV.
Government has introduced this let's go back to school program whereby they pay the entry policy and they're paying for this. Nowadays, what is happening is it's not only from grade 9, grade 10 up to grade 12. They are even encouraging you go to university, they'll be paying for you. You go for nursing, they'll be paying for you. These are the programs which the people, the community should take advantage. Because look, the chiefs are saying, go to school. And no wonder I'm telling, even the men who have appetite to marry young ones, they should also first go to school so that they should be providing for the food even when they marry.
And World Vision reaffirmed the organization's continued support even as the project comes to an end this year.
It concludes in December. In terms of implementation, we should be concluding in June this year, but there are certain activities that are going to continue until December. And some of those activities are sustainability activities, because as we hand over to government, we have to ensure that they understand the program and that they are going to run with it. Natwampane basically has two objectives. One of them looks at prevention and the other one looks at response.
Natwampane is a program funded by the European Union and being implemented by World Vision, aimed at combating sexual and gender-based violence in northern and Luapula provinces. Brian Swisha reporting for Zanis in Siavonga district.
Also in the news, Chief Mpepo of Kanchibia district in Muchinga province has bemoaned the escalating number of defilement cases within his chiefdom. The chief notes that despite efforts being made by the judiciary, perpetrators of defilement and early marriage are mostly protected by their families. The traditional leader was speaking when Deputy Chief Justice Michael Msonda paid a courtesy call on him. Pamela Inambao gives us the details.
He took time to visit one of the schools to encourage learners to study hard as they are future leaders. Deputy Chief Justice Michael Msonda, while in Kanchibia district at Mpepo Primary School, told learners not to involve themselves in bad acts that can make them be failures in their lives.
Please continue to work hard. There is great life after this temporary phase of going to school, of going to college, of going to university. The greater part of life is waiting for you. That way you are going to save in these various roles which you are occupying and which you are just keeping for yourselves.
Those boyfriends you have today, you go and ditch them. You tell them that I'll meet you when I finish school from the university. Don't get married too early. Life is not about marriage.
And Mpepo Primary School head teacher was elated at the gesture, saying the visit by the Deputy Chief Justice will encourage learners to put in their best.
I never expected that the Chief Justice at the Attorney General can visit our school. For them being here, I don't know what I can say, but the thing is, it's only God who has brought them here. I'm so happy.
Meanwhile, a grade 7 pupil, Chimwemwe Nyangwa, who answered a question on the full names of the Deputy Chief Justice, was happy to receive some money as an award for answering correctly.
I feel great after giving me some money. They asked me a question and I responded. I wanted to be a journalist, but now someone has encouraged me to be a lawyer.
It is only through such encouragement that learners can be encouraged to perform well. Pamela Inamba reporting for Zanis in Kanchibia district, Muchinga province.
In Central Province, Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Shimwambwa has expressed disappointment at the delayed operationalization of an ablution block at the town center market. Mr. Shimwambwa bemoaned that over 120,000 kwacha was released for the rehabilitation of the ablution block, which has still remained closed to traders. Details in this report.
The town center market in Kabwe has been without an operational ablution block for close to a year now. This has not pleased Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Shimwambwa, who visited the market to check on the rehabilitation works at the ablution block.
Here because we are concerned about obviously public health issues, you know that. This market has a population and our people should access these toilets. So government through DMMU, disaster component, I think approved 120,000, I remember very well. And I think when I had a chat with my colleagues from the local authority, they said much less than that was spent on the materials. I think we were talking around just under 90,000, 80-something thousand around there, out of 120 which was approved. So this was maybe 6-7 months ago. So our expectation are that this ablution block should be functional. Why? It should be functional because our people here should access these facilities. And secondly, we are also trying to encourage street vending or the vendors to come to the markets. We can't attract them if we can't provide public health facilities like that.
Market Committee Treasurer Alan Munsha described the situation at the market as unbearable.
We had a plumber working, this has never been a success.
It has never been a success.
So even when you start working, it will fail because yes, are coming from the
So what needs to be done? There's something broke.
Saipes Enterprise Limited, the company rehabilitating the ablution block, says all the works at the facility are done.
It's not even demobilization because that was done, so we're just trying to clean up. The tap taps that were supposed to be done, and they were done, were covered on Saturday.
Were covered on Saturday.
Yes, I think we had broken waste pipes, then a bit of gaps in the carpentry jobs on the doors, the main doors, which was covered on Saturday.
At the intra-city bus station, the situation is similar as the ablution block has erratic water supply. For the district commissioner, this facility also needs attention.
Issues of this ablution block, which was also coming at great cost. Let's look after the infrastructure. Let the local authorities take charge of this infrastructure and ensure that the benefit goes to the public. I think that is very important.
Kelvin Tembo for Zanis in Kabwe, Central Province.
And a 1x2 classroom block at Silido Primary School in Katua constituency has been commissioned using the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Katua constituency Member of Parliament Mwabashike Nkulukusa commissioned the first ever classroom block and also handed over 75 desks. Details in this report.
Sililo Primary School in Katua constituency of Central Province was established in 2001 with a pupil population of over 300. With the introduction of the free education policy, the school, like any other, recorded an increase in enrollment levels, causing this school structure to run out of space. As a result, shortage of desks arose and some lessons were conducted under trees, thus compromising the quality of education to the pupils. Area Member of Parliament Mwabashike Nkulukusa, working with relevant authorities, had a solution in this 1x2 classroom block that has been constructed using the 2022 Constituency Development Fund, CDF. The block has since been commissioned.
You need a good shepherd to make sure the flock rejoices. And in our president, we have the man who has the heart of the people. He has promised that CDF will continue to grow leaps and bounds. Sooner than later, you will see the new CDF by the time we finish our first term.
Strong calls to guard this infrastructure against vandalism have been made.
Can we make sure that we guard this infrastructure jealously? Indeed, it has come with a package of desks as well. Let's make sure that as teachers in the class, the guiding jealously starts from the class teacher.
School management and pupils are happy.
This 1x2 classroom block, and also we received the 75 desks. The receipt of these desks simply adds to the labor pronouncement by the New Dawn government that no child shall sit on the floor in the near future.
Guests of honor, we are very thankful for the new desks. The availability of desks at our school is a true testimony.
Jane Simalumba Zanis in Katoba, Central Province.
And in Northern Province, residents of Kasama district, particularly men, were spotted taking a leading role in taking under 5 children to the just launched Child Health Week, which runs from 19th to 25th June. Our reporter, Helen Bwalia, conducted an on-the-spot check at some health facilities that were offering various health services to the children. Here are the details.
These men, as responsible fathers, are defying all odds by caring for the health of their children. They were also among the first to take their children to receive health care services in the just launched Child Health Week.
I urge other fathers to take the responsibility, not to leave it to women alone. These are our children.
I decided to bring my child for Health Week because as men we should take a leading role, ensuring that our children's well-being is promoted.
Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpondu was represented by Kasama DC Elizabeth Goma during the launch and flagging off of the integrated 2023 Round 1 Child Health Week, Polio Round 5 and Human Papillomavirus campaign.
The threat of outbreaks and the potential spread of polio in the province is high, following the cases that were reported in Malawi and Mozambique last year. It is therefore important that children below the age of 5 receive multiple vaccinations against polio. This will ensure that every child in every community is protected against this disease.
The Ministry of Health highlighted its area of focus.
In Northern Province recently, we have had a number of diseases that are preventable, but they are still coming because some parents do not bring their children for vaccinations. Recently in Mporongo, we had a threat of polio. This means that there were some parents who did not take their children for vaccinations.
Children under 5, we have close to 132,238 that we are targeting to vaccinate and also provide other services with. We have over 700 members of staff and community personnel that have been mobilized.
This year's Integrated Child Health Week is being held under the theme Holistic Child Care for Universal Health Coverage. Helen Wadia reporting for Zanis in Kasama, Northern Province.
We now take a break and more news to come on the other side. Stay tuned.
Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale
on Thursday at 18:30 hours
on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds.
Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
The news continues. Small-scale farmers in Senga Hill District have called on government to tighten the law and prevent the illegal trading of maize outside the country. One of the farmers, Abigo Simpasa, has also cautioned farmers in the area not to be lured by the good floor price of maize and sell all their reserves, but leave some for consumption. Mary Namsokwe gives us details in the following report.
The increase in the maize floor price from 180 kwacha to 280 kwacha has motivated small-scale farmers. Abigo Simpasa, a farmer of Mwiluzi Camp in Senga Hill District, says the increase is a clear demonstration of government's commitment to promoting agriculture.
uyu mutengo babikireko urekoseresha okutira bafama bonse mukwai bonse abalimi ichirefu chakuti natuli amataba tutwale ku FRA tekyakwesha okutwala okuya mukustisha mu mabo bantu ife tafire tupero obuyantanshi mutengo nga wawamisha chilale ensalo okupona bantu kuti mwastisha notomukwetu.
Mr. Simpasa has also held government for flagging of the distribution of farming input for the 2023-2024 season.
Awe chichena tuafueni mwangu fyanyo kutupela umufundo pantu umufundo ewo tulekabira nga bafama tulelomba nokuti anaula wine washereko na tuishiwe kutila mwala tupela tupeleni ubuteko ubu na tubutemwisha sana.
And Nsenga Hill District Commissioner Justus Sikazwe, who officiated at the District Agriculture Show, had this to say.
Standing during these talk shows, we have come to interact, exchange knowledge, as well as compete now at district level. This is also important. This is also an important opportunity to promote and showcase farmers' produce, innovations, skills, and improved technology, among others.
Nsenga Hill District Agriculture Coordinator Aaron Sinkamba also spoke at the event.
We are also conducting farmer registration. We are also conducting FISIP beneficiary list cleanup. All those names with errors we are cleaning, and we are registering new farmers. Actually, even at the same event, the show, we were registering some new farmers, and a lot of farmers came through to register to be put in the Zanis system.
Reporting for Zanis in Nsenga Hill District of Northern Province, Namsokwe Bwembia.
Still on agriculture news, the Jilin Agriculture University of China, in partnership with the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, has given out 200 chickens at point of lay for rearing to 20 vulnerable households in Shimwengwa village of Kapete Ward in Chongwe district. University Secretary General Chen Wei, who handed over the chickens to the beneficiaries, stated that the donation is an initiative under the China-Africa Agricultural Development and Poverty Reduction Project aimed at reducing poverty in vulnerable communities in African countries. Details in the following report by Sheila Makosa.
20 vulnerable households of Shimwengwe village in Kapete ward of Chongwe district have received 200 at point-of-lay chickens from the Jilin Agricultural University of China under the China-Africa Agricultural Development and Poverty Reduction Project. The project, which is being implemented through the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock in the area, is expected to improve nutrition levels of vulnerable families and help them to be self-sustainable. Speaking during the handover of the chickens, University Secretary General Chei Wei stated that China remains committed to helping Zambia to alleviate poverty through the implementation of various programs under the project.
共同见证村级正式捐赠给西文威村内的几个社区。这个项目是在布拉斯阿卡尔成员吉林农业大学的慷慨赞助下实现的。 而可以进一步扩大到更多的个人和家庭，达到减贫和粮食安全的目的，并对我们这个村庄呢产生重大的影响。这个扶贫项目的重要性呢不要低估，这是朝着降低贫困水平和改善我们居民生活迈出的重要一步。
And the Provincial Fisheries and Livestock Office called on the university to assist government in building capacity among livestock officers in modern livestock scientific skills and research.
As a ministry, we are happy to see our cooperation with Jilin University grow. We would like to see our association, our cooperation be fostered further, and see that the University of Jilin helps us with building the capacity of our staff in modern scientific skills and research. And this research will lead to the conservation, utilization, and performance improvement of Zambian indigenous livestock species.
The benefiting families are elated by the donation.
This project will enable us to sustain ourselves as we sell the chickens, to bring nutrition and improve the economy for those who have taken the chicken. Once again, we thank you for the activities which are brought here in Zambia. We are so grateful, and we will always be grateful to your support you have brought that will reduce the poverty to the Zambian people.
Sheila Makosa reporting for Zanis in Chongwe District.
And finally, to Northwestern Province, where the Ministry of Education in Chavuma District has called for the need to reawaken learners to the reality of entrepreneurship through revamping production units. District Education Board Secretary Sylvester Lumbwe says subjects need to be realigned as early as primary school in order to inculcate entrepreneurship skills. Details in the following report.
Field of education needs to be changed so that after completion of studies, pupils are not just looking for a job, but instead create employment. Therefore, the entrepreneurial spirit is very important and must be nurtured since childhood. After inspecting some production sites in various schools in Chavuma District, it is evident that the schools have taken seriously the directive by the government to revamp production units in order to be self-reliant.
We are here today to support the vision of the Ministry of Education. The vision of education is to provide quality, lifelong education for all, which is accessible, inclusive, relevant to individuals. As educators, we provide education not only to pupils, and this education should be inclusive and should be relevant to all. It should be relevant to individual, national, and global needs and valuable systems. And the mission of the Ministry of Education is to guide the provision of knowledge and skills.
And District Commissioner Geoffrey Kasonda reveals that this will broaden the learners' minds to think beyond white-collar jobs to being employment creators rather than waiting for a salary at the end of the month.
To be job creators requires that they get engaged in hands and activities as a way of actualizing the theories that they learn in class, leading to their life skills. As you are aware, we only not teach our children with the other technical skills, but even these other skills that can able to sustain themselves during the time that they leave schools. But not all of us, all of them, they will have white.
Meanwhile, host head teacher has emphasized for the need to take production unit in schools seriously.
Unity, as you all know, has been here, but then we did not take it seriously. This time around, the new government wants us to take things very seriously.
A bright hope shines for a better future as pupils and the community in Chavuma District are given opportunities to better their living conditions by engaging themselves in these innovative projects. Josephine Banda reporting for Zanis, Chavuma District in Northwestern Province.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, let's take another look at the top stories in our news. European Union gives an additional 60 million euros to Zambia. Construction works at Tuvalange Mini Hospital have advanced. And Kabwe District Commissioner unhappy with delay to open ablution block for traders. Thank you so much for watching the news. That is all we had packaged for you on Zanis News. On behalf of the entire news production crew, my name is Henry Himonde. Remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. Goodbye.